Hello everyone, welcome to my online prep. Today we'll start with part 1 of chapter 14, that is training methodology. In this chapter, we'll be learning about the subject matter of training in learning organizations, what is the training methodology that is used, current trends in training, the different types of training techniques, and the benefits of training in organization. So let us start with the first topic of today's session. Companies all across the world are shifting from the traditional methods of training towards more innovative or technology-driven methodologies. Herein, they are using techniques like video conferencing. There are the online learning modules available, collaborative webcasting techniques. Basically, the innovative technology-driven teaching methodologies are taking over. Even Indian companies are using the latest technologies to train and reskill their employees, and these techniques are proving to be more cost effective, flexible, and convenient compared to the traditional methods. Traditional methods that were earlier used under the corporate training programs, they had long duration, infrastructure was required for the same, and it were more costly. But now the demand for skilled manpower the world over is encouraging companies to adopt the latest technologies for corporate training. So even the large and local multinational companies are using these flexible methods. Now a new horizon is created that provides a proprietary corporate training product. Herein, mentored learning is there, which is designed to help people acquire the new skills in their free time without disrupting their daily schedule. Whenever they are free, they can, under this mentored learning technique or in this methodology, they can utilize their time and they can learn new skills. If we talk about the banking industry, there are various examples. One of the most prominent one is the ICICI Bank partnered IT education services provider NIIT to set up the Institute of Finance, Banking and Insurance IFBI. It provides training in banking, insurance and allied services. So there are a number of companies that have stated the importance of corporate training. Using technology proves not only more cost effective but also offers a lot of flexibility. This has been added. Enterprises are going on the whole hog in adopting the new training methodologies. So in this chapter, we will learn how the new training methodologies developed, the initiatives that are being taken by the companies. First, we have the initiatives of the Government of India on the development of general skills of masses. So we are talking about the banking industry, the bank employees that are a byproduct of the society. Thus, it is the responsibility of the Government of India to provide initiatives for enhancing the general skill level. So herein, according to the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, that is MSDE, it has enormous skilling challenge at hand, and in the year 2016 a lot of importance was given to the skilling, speed and standards. So let us examine some of the recent initiatives of the Government of India. First, we have the first ever Indian Institute of Skills. The Government of India has laid the foundation stone of the first of its kind Indian Institute of Skills in the country in Kanpur on December 19, 2016. This institute would adopt various best practices from the country, and MSD has also decided to have 6 such institutes across the country. So herein it has partnered with the Institute on Technical Education, Singapore, to adopt the best practices, and MSD has also decided that these will be the best practices that will help improve the general skills. Then we have the Kaushal Pradarshini skill exhibition for the youth of Uttar Pradesh. Government has also inaugurated the skill exhibition at the railway grounds Kanpur and launched an array of skill development initiatives. A part of this is the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras and Drivers Training Institutes. So there was also strategic partnership with various industries that would train and employ approximately 4 lakh youth over the next 3 years. So third is the India Skills Competition 2016. Skill India, that is an initiative of the central government, It celebrated its first anniversary on 15th July 2016, and to mark this day, the President of India has inaugurated the first edition of India Skills Competition. This is on the occasion of World Youth Skills Day. India Skills is a national competition that is steered by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and also the National Skill Development Corporation. This competition will help select the best talent that is going to lead India's participation in the biennial World Skills International Competition that is scheduled at Abu Dhabi in 2017. So India Skills Competition to find out the best talent for representing India in this competition was conducted. Then we have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana that was launched on July 15, 2015 by the Government of India, and it is a flagship outcome-based skill training scheme of MSDE. It is also India's largest skill certification scheme that is launched with the objective to enable and mobilize a large number of Indian youth to outcome-based skill training and become employable and earn their livelihood. So to provide them the basic skills to be employable. Then Pradhan Mantri Kausal Vikas Kendras, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship again is working towards the creation of these kendras under the Skill India mission. As of December 9, 2016, allocation to setting up of 422 PMKKs in 415 districts. This was decided. So training will be provided across 26 states and one union territory. Then we have the National Apprentice Promotion Scheme. This is a new scheme of Government of India to provide apprenticeship training and increase the engagement of apprentices from present 2.3 lakh to 50 lakh cumulatively by 2020. So this is the aim. It provides or focuses on sharing of 25% of the prescribed stipend subject to maximum of rupees 1500 per month per apprentice to so that to provide this help to the employees. Then we have the Directorate General of Training DGT MSDE academic equivalents to ITI course. So together DGT MSDE and National Institute of Open Schooling under the Ministry of Human Development, they have provided options to meet aspirations of those ITI system who want to attain higher academic qualification so that they can add to their skills. So it has also provided pathways for ex-trainees of the ITI holding certificates so that they can earn secondary or senior secondary qualification. So these are only illustrations of such initiatives. Various other initiatives have been taken with international collaboration as well to upskill the employable youth, also to ensure that the Indians have equipped the skills not only to be employable in India but also outside. So these steps taken by the Government of India are to ensure that training translate into sustainable livelihood so as to provide more employment opportunities for the India's youth. Next topic is what is the subject matter of training? Many organizations face the challenge of developing greater confidence in their employees, initiative, solution finding, problem solving, performance and capability. These are also dependent. These are some of the factors that will lead to successful training. So all these has together led to the concept of learning organization. It is an organization that is not only skilled in creating, acquiring, and transferring knowledge, but also at modifying behavior to reflect new knowledge and insights. Now, this is the goal of the training that is conducted. The individual should modify behavior so that they're positively inclined towards training and upskilling. They themselves want, they are intrinsically motivated towards new skills to take more jobs. So a learning organization is more of an environment, a culture that is created in the corporate industry. So it is a place where all the people working with it, irrespective of their positions and cadres, will collectively and continuously learn the knowledge and skills for mutual benefit of themselves and the organization. Not only the lowest level staff, but also the highest level managers. They should be willing to take up training programs to collaborate, to have discussions and teamwork so that they can together learn and take the organization towards newer heights. Today, the banking industry is in the middle of a huge transformation. The demographic profile is changing. There's a huge gap in terms of the skills and knowledge. Now, the older generation, they are not ready to cope up with the new technology. So, the need of the hour is to impart knowledge more than learning and to retool the experienced personnel into more valuable ones. So, now the issue that the bank faces is to have cost effective, highly accessible, and efficient means of knowledge transfer. And the answer to all of these questions is to create banks into learning organizations so that a viable platform can be made for constant and collective learning by rank and file so that they are now knowledge workers, which is the need of the hour. So the learning organization in which knowledge is emphasized. These are the complex economic institution wherein learning and knowledge takes place, and here creative ideas are constantly generated so as to permit the organizational transformation. There are certain features of learning organization. So it is a place where high quality human learning goes on a continuous basis. It is beyond a stable state. On a daily basis, the behavior is modified through radical changes in the organizational culture, a culture that promotes to learn, grow, and change. Also, capacity to be more creative and innovative is continuously expanding. Also, steps to unlearn the old knowledge, acquire new knowledge, and enhancing the existing knowledge creates open and frank communication channels, vertical, horizontal, cross sectional, interdepartmentally, as interpersonally. So, it encourages their employees to give in more creative ideas, more innovative ideas. It also helps to disseminate learning and shared knowledge and vision throughout the organization. It keeps the company in a state of constant change, that is moving ahead with the change of times. So organizational excellence can be achieved through the holistic well-being of the employees, because people are the key factors that are going to decide whether or not the organization will be a success. So various techniques such as the customer relationship management, economic value that is added, return on investment, retention of the creative talents, as well as total quality management, these are being employed. Now, let us move on to the methodology that is used in the new learning era. Okay, so if we talk about the definition of training methodology, objective of any training program should be to offer something for everyone, from the pre-employment preparation for the first job to the pre-retirement courses for those who are due to retire soon, something that is going to help each and everyone that is involved in the organization. So the range of training methods is such that they can provide opportunity to the unskilled to learn more, to upskill, to become more skilled. They offer people to be promoted at various levels of the organization. So, training methods are a means of attaining the desired objectives in an ongoing learning environment. Training methods can be grouped on the basis of the level of the personnel in an organization, because three categories of people are there. There is the subordinate level, clerical, then supervisory officers, and then we have the management, that is the executives. These levels have different training needs, and therefore different training methods are need to be created for them. Training methods can also be categorized on the basis of the emphasis which they put on the training process. Thus, they can also be on the job oriented, off the job training are there. There are various other techniques like experience and working on a particular job, mentoring, counseling. There is apprenticeship, simulation is there, program instructions. So there are various methods. Let us discuss these methods extensively. First, we have on the job training that emphasizes learning while an individual is actually engaged in work during. So, these methods can be suitable for all the types of employees. Thus, people can learn by working on their jobs. They need not allot time apart from their schedule. So there are several ways in which the on-the-job training can be offered. First is the coaching method. A person can learn when he is put on a specific job. They can develop skills for doing the job better if they are given some guidance, either in the form of coaching or working. So coaching involves direct personal instructions and guidance, usually with demonstration and continuous critical evaluation and correction. So the superior of the individual will act as a guide and provide coaching to the trainee so as to what needs to be done, suggest how the work can be done in a better manner, follow up suggestions and correction of mistakes. The chief objective is to provide the trainee diversified knowledge and teach them better ways of performing the task that is given to them. It has merits. It implies learning by doing, that is experience. It requires least centralized coordination from the staff, immediate feedback is provided, periodic evaluation enables the trainee to learn the job easily without mistakes. However, there are certain demerits as well. It can impose the trainee his or her work habits, then ideals, beliefs, so it can be a biased method. The effectiveness of the coaching methods depends on the ability of the trainer as well, whether they are a good coach or not. If a coach accepts their responsibility fully, then only it can be beneficial. So first is the coaching method. Second is the understudy method. It is also known as attachment. In this, a person is picked up and subjected to training so that she or he in the future assumes the duties and responsibilities of the position that is held currently by their superior. So they are trained towards a particular role, a higher role for the future. So the current person in that position will provide them training to replace a superior. Understudy method is aimed at providing a person who is going to replace the superior. A manager can pick up a subordinate and train them by assigning a project that is most closely related to the work of a superior. Again, it has certain merits and demerits. The learner's motivation and interest would be high. Superior may be relieved of heavy workload because they can delegate a part to the trainee. Trainee could also develop necessary leadership qualities by observing their superior. This method ensures continuity of the managerial talent even when the superior leaves the department or organization. Demerits is that it breeds demotivation among the other employees. If a wrong person is selected as the training there, then chances of doing unpardonable errors may also rise that can cost the organization severely. So, proper due diligence while selecting the understudy is important. Third is the mentoring method. Herein, it is the most professional relationship in which an experienced person, that is known as the mentor, assists another, that is the mentee, in developing the specific skills and knowledge that are going to enhance the less experienced person's professional and personal growth. So it focuses on developing the mentee professionally and personally. As such, evaluation is not provided with respect to the current job, but it is more about how they can develop their job. Again, people might confuse mentoring and coaching, but they are different. They're not the same. A mentor may be a coach, but a coach is not a mentor. Mentoring is more relational, we can say, while coaching is a functional method of providing training. So there are different characteristics. Again, benefits of mentoring are there. It enhances the strategic business initiatives, encourages retention, reduces the attrition, and improves the productivity. There are merits of mentoring method as well. Then we have the job rotation method. In this, various departments of the organizations, various jobs are given at intervals. So the major objective is to broaden the skill base of the trainee. He or she can learn the working of various sections and departments of the organization. They can become more versatile and compatible if new or certain different task is provided to them. Merits, it brings new and innovative ideals at the workplace, enhances the maturity and broadness, provides equal opportunities for all the employees for their career development. However, demerits, frequent transfers may cause problems and inconvenience for the employees and the organization. The initial time of learning in each job is high. There may be chances of committing errors or mistakes. It may result in certain dysfunctional behaviors in terms of jealousy, non-cooperation, friction within the department. So, proper diligence has to be taken in rotating the job. Then there are the apprenticeship programs. These are like understudy, in which a trainee is put under the supervision of a person who is more experienced in their field. This method of training has been quite popular in the medieval times, when those intended to learn some craft or professional used to work under some experts. In today's context, many organizations have to take trainees under the Apprenticeship Act. So, besides various organizations, they also take apprentices to fill the requirement of skilled personnel. So, it is just like the understudy method. Next is the special projects. As the name suggests, a training executive is assigned a special project that involves heavy responsibility. So herein the trainee is expected to study the project, understand the problem issues, and prescribe appropriate solutions, also make recommendations on the viability of the project. Then the executives are assigned projects closely related to their job areas. So the executive development program under the special assignment of project, it is helpful for the executives. They can learn how to work with others, how to tackle the typical problems, take independent decisions in times of crisis, and also exhibit their talent without any constraints from their superiors. Then we have committee assignment. It is again similar to the special project method. However, here the trainees executive, they become members of the special committees that are designed to solve specific problem. So the executive as a team study and they discuss the problems that are assigned to it, and then they submit the report containing various suggestions and recommendations. So as a team they work. These are the committee assignment. Through the committee assignments, they solve different problems. They may not be effective in bringing the rapid executive development and leadership skills, because herein the committee approach, it does not take personal responsibility and accountability for the task and the failures. Only the teamwork is there. So these are the various on the job training methods that are available. Then we have off the job training methods, that is opposed to the on the job. A trainee has to leave her or his place of work and devote the entire time for training purpose. These methods can be followed either in the organization itself, or the trainee may be deputed to specialized institutions for undergoing the training courses. In the banking industry, biggest examples, there are many institutions of high repute which are dedicated for banking personal training, like NIBM, JNIDBI, MDI, ASCI, All India Management Institutes. These are besides the IIMs and the IITs. These institutions conduct high-end management development programs, especially for the higher level and the top level executives in the bank. So these institutes conduct off-the-job training. They aim at placing the executives in a highly maneuvered and stimulated atmosphere, so that they're exposed to the new ideas, new and innovative ways of analysis, out of the box thinking. Also, they are given a position to introspect themselves by studying their own behaviors and attitudes. Let us discuss some of the off the job training methods. First is the case study. In this method of training, the trainees are given a business situation as a case. They need to analyze it thoroughly. The trainees, they study the case and suggest solutions for the given problems under this method. This process helps to develop the analytical skills among the participants. Also, it provides a common platform for the group members. They can advance, defend, and argue on the analytical and the judgmental capacities of the group. Normally, cases are discussed in the groups. So, this group is asked by the instructor to present their analysis and to comment and also analyze that of the solutions that are provided by others. So, case studies provide stimulating discussions among the participant executives. also they can develop their decision making abilities. Second is role playing. It is used in groups again, where various individuals are given different roles of the managers who may be required to solve a problem or arrive at a decision. At the end of the role playing exercise, usually there is a critique session in which the trainees are given feedback about the role that they have played. This helps the trainee to develop better perspective in performing the jobs that are assigned to them. They are free to act depending upon the situation. Since the roles that are taken, these are the everyday roles that are performed by the managers. So they develop analytical skills. Also, they decide as to how they are going to behave in a particular situation to provide solution. So role playing provides them a stimulating condition, feedback that would help them understand the human problems and conflict that are encountered on a daily basis. Then we have the management games. They refer to the classroom simulation exercises wherein different teams consisting of the individual executives, they are required to compete with one another in order to achieve a given objective. Here an artificial atmosphere that is almost close to the real life situation is created. And then the participant executives, they play a dynamic role and enrich their skills through involvement and stimulative experience. So since people here real life situation is created to them, this process is repeated over a number of times and each team is competing with each other, so the decisions will affect the results of others. The trainer gives feedback to every team after every period. This way, in this simulation exercises, they develop analytical and decision making skills. We also have in basket exercises, a simulation technique that is designed around the incoming mail of a manager. A variety of situation is presented in this exercise that would be dealt by a manager on the typical working day. Then the recommendations that are made by the trainee executors are compared with the recommendations of the functional specialists and evaluated to see if there are any gaps that need to be covered. So in basket exercises, finally, a report of the evaluation is sent to the top management, feedback on the behavior. Trainees can learn how they can overcome the behavior that is not productive. Merits, they are quick, rapid, and effective decision making. Instant feedback is provided. However, demerits are also there. They may discourage the original ideals because of the ideals of an executive. They may be turned down by the group as a whole. So, in basket exercises also can be productive. Another special training technique is simulation that is conducted on a duplicate environment. So a mock-up that is related or almost real to the real life environment is created. Essential features of a real life situation in an organization or activity are abstracted and presented before the executives. Then the executives are asked to assume different roles and asked to make decisions. So it is similar to the role playing exercises. This technique, both of these techniques have similar characteristics. Likewise, several events may be presented in a relatively short span of time to understand how the executors are going to behave in a critical situation. Brainstorming is a technique to stimulate idea generation. This technique was envisioned by Osborne in 1938 in an American company. So for conducting brainstorm, the process is a group of 10 to 15 persons are drawn from the same level. Then the brainstorm session is meant to be free, frank and relaxed one. So a number of ideas irrespective of the quality. This is the objective of brainstorming session. Each member is given the same problem. They are also explained about the rules and objectives. They are asked to give free and frank ideas. Evaluation is deferred to a later stage. So there is no judgment. Everyone is free to give their ideas. Quality does not matter here. Then sensitivity training is very important. This concept was developed by Kurt Levin and popularized by National Training Laboratories in USA. So herein, sensitivity training is a group experience that is designed to provide maximum possible opportunity so that the individuals can expose their behavior, give and receive valuable feedback, experiment with new behavior and develop awareness of self as well as the others. So a small group of not more than 10 to 12 trainees, herein a activity without any formal agenda is presented. Role of the trainer is to call attention from time to time. The training aims develop introspection and self-examination sensitivity, that is more related to the human relations training. It is also an important part of the training methodology. Apart from the on the job and off the job training methodology, there's also the transactional analysis. It is generally used to develop better interpersonal interactions among the individuals. So, involves understanding of the personality factors of individuals and their ego with which they interact. Herein, conceptually, transactional analysis refers to the method of analyzing and understanding the interpersonal behavior, how individuals they behave in the presence of other people when they interact. There's a social transaction that takes place. The study of these transactions between people, that is known as TA or transactional analysis. It was developed originally by Eric Berne, a psychotherapist for psychotherapy in 1950. So according to the International Training Analysis Association, TA is a theory of personality and a systematic psychotherapy that is for personal growth and personal change. So, as a theory of personality, it describes how people are structured psychologically. It uses what is best perhaps known as the ego state to do this. Same model helps explain how people function and express their personality in their behavior. So, in this psychology, there are four life positions that a person can hold. These are I am okay and you are okay. This is actually the most healthy. This is the healthiest position about life. It means that I feel good about myself and that I feel good about others and their competence. Second is I am okay and you are not okay. In this position, I am feeling good about myself, but I see others as damaged. We see other people around us as damaged, and it is usually not healthy for the organization. Third is I am not okay and you are okay. In this position, the person sees herself as the weak partner in the relationship, and others, they are definitely better. The other people around us are better. The person holds this position is unconsciously they're accepting abuse as okay. And then fourth is I'm not okay and you are not okay. This is the worst position. It means that I believe that I am a terrible state and the rest of the world is as bad. Then consequently there is no hope in the mind of this person for any ultimate support. So it is a theory of communication that can be extended to the analysis of systems and organization. So practical application for diagnosis and treatment, how individuals they believe in the organization, they can be worked out. Let us see what is the philosophy of this analysis. This methodology believes that people are okay. Thus, each person has validity, importance, and equality of respect. Positive reinforcement increases the feelings of being okay. All people have a basic lovable core and desire for positive growth. Everyone has the capacity to think, that is, they have the capacity to think about others and themselves. All of the many facets of individual have a positive value for them in some way. People decide their story and destiny. Therefore, these decisions can be changed and all emotional difficulties are curable. Freedom from the historical maladaptations that are in the childhood script, they're required to become free of the inappropriate emotions. We can unlearn those emotions that we had in the earlier childhood that are not fair and honest reflection. The aim of TA is to move towards autonomy, freedom from the childhood script, spontaneity, intimacy, problem solving, as opposed to the avoidance or passivity, cure as an ideal rather than merely taking progress and learning new choices. So, how we can cure our personal behavior, how we are behaving with others, interacting with others, how we are viewing the organization, interpersonal relationships. So, how we are transacting with others comes in the transactional analysis. So, this theory is explained with the ego state or parent adult child PAC models. At any given time, a person experiences and manifests his or her personality through a mixture of behaviors, thoughts, and feelings. Typically, there are three ego states that people continuously use. These are the parent, adult, and child. These have nothing to do with the chronological age of the person, rather, they are related with the behavioral aspects of age. A person, if they are growing physically but they're not growing emotionally, then they are lagging behind. There's a lag that is created. A healthy person is able to move from one ego state to another easily, and these concepts, these are different from the ego superego. Let us understand. First is the parent ego stage, a state in which the people behave, feel, and think in response to an unconscious mimicking of how their parents acted or how they interpreted their parents' actions. So, people, they are responsible and caring. For example, a person may be at some time out of frustration because they learned from an influential figure in the childhood that this is the way of relating that worked. So, we are going to mimic our parents how we saw them in our childhood. Then there is the adult ego stage, in which most like an artificial intelligence system processing information and making predictions about the major emotions that could affect its operation. So learning to strengthen the adult is the goal of the TA. While a person is in this state, she or he is rational, logical, and flexible to change. And child ego state is in which the people behave, feel, and think similarly to how they did in the childhood. They have not moved on to the next stages. For example, a person who receives a poor evaluation at work may respond by looking at the floor, crying, or pouting as when scolded as a child. Conversely, a person who receives a good evaluation, they might show it with positive behaviors like a broad smile. So, the child is the source of emotions, creations, recreation, spontaneity, and intimacy. So, the state in which the person is depends on their emotional state rather than their physical or chronological age. So in this theory, the parent child relationship, how we had that and how we are going to continue or move on from them will depend how we are going to relate to the others in the organization. Within each of these ego states are subdivisions. Thus parental figures are often either more nurturing, they are permission giving, security giving, or more criticizing, comparing to the family traditions and ideals. So what we experience as a child, our relationship with our parents is going to determine whether we are going to be more nurturing or criticizing. Childhood behaviors are either more natural, that is, if the child was more free, they were provided freedom in the childhood, or more adapted to others. So herein, depending upon the relationship that the individual had earlier, they will behave in the present situation as well. These behaviors or emotions can either be dysfunctional in a negative manner, or they can be more functional in a positive or beneficial manner. Also, there are four types of diagnosis. These are the behavioral diagnosis, social diagnosis, historical diagnosis, and phenomenological diagnosis according to the phenomena. A complete diagnosis would include all the four types. Also, there is a fifth type, that is contextual, according to the context or the situation. The ego state from which someone is communicating is evident from her or his behavior, manner, and expression. Thus, we can conclude that this approach towards is understanding the human behavior in the organization. And because organizations are the congregation of people where the human relations and behaviors, also the teams, these are more important for the organizational development. So, TA can be an effective training intervention. Developing positive thinking, interpersonal effectiveness, motivation. This will lead to overall organizational development. Utilizing the transactional analysis, we can provide the individual with a dimension, with a proper diagnosis of how their emotions are working. They can work towards improving their situation. Now we move on to the contemporary methods or the new methods of training, in which first we have internet as a learning medium. Internet today is being widely positioned as the next big thing in distant education. harnessing the power of multimedia to simulate the classroom scenarios. Using the web as a medium, it also has its own challenges. The goal is to basically transfer as effectively and efficiently as possible a concise and logical block of information from the teacher or the computer into the minds of the learners. More so in the now in the case that COVID-19 was there, offices, schools and colleges had closed down. So internet was the only medium. Approach would work well if we are talking about the training of basic skills in areas of knowledge and technology. This, if we are using the internet, we also need to adapt to the new and dynamic technology. Then we have e-learning. Again, the same basic principle apply, that is designed to self-study programs. Internet enables self-study learning and development programs. These are accepted as more useful, empowering, and cost-effective. E-learning makes a good use of the database and content management system technologies. These are more effective and dependable. Corporates expanding their geographic presence and increasing their headcount are looking at the virtual universities. Now, while creating an online course, it is important that a number of criteria must be met to ensure that the students receive the benefits that they have signed for. This is because e-learning has its own advantages of convenience, ease of participation, flexibility, time management, but it also has its disadvantages if not used correctly. Absence of face-to-face interaction, compromised communication skills, technical setbacks are there. So there are certain important elements of online learning courses. First, there should be consistent instructor presence. There's a huge value that is provided to feedback. The role is very important of an instructor in the e-learning process because it is in his hands to encourage and inspire the students. The learning management system offers options like instant messaging, email, and other tools. A streamlined and well designed learning management system should be there. When we are talking about success, we primarily mean that we want an e-learning site that will be easy to navigate, well organized, and contains high quality material. Now, the content that is there, it should be up to par. That is, apart from the design and ease, the most important thing is to keep the students satisfied. So, the role is to change the curriculum from time to time, update it. Then tested delivery methods are also there. For example, if we are learning a course, we need to have certain good methodology or delivery models that are provided. Any other website, application, or product that is compatibly better, the students would shift to that. Then we have online tests and quizzes. Despite the fact that e-learning lacks the elements of physical presence, tests and quizzes are still an essential part. Through this, individual can revise, they are able to track their progress. Ways to make e-learning effective and tips to increase the effectiveness should be used. We should know the subject material well if we are going to teach the students, if we are creating the idle content. But one thing is certain, we need to have time to research about the material before making it available to the learners. Online courses provided should be appealing to all the learning styles. Self-study, instructional methods, experience, everything should be collaborated. It should facilitate contact. Students and teachers should be able to establish an open line of communication. And finally, the platform should be easy to navigate and fully functional. When designing the site and e-learning platforms, ease of navigation and functionality should be the top priority. Thus, the communication goals, they have to be set. Also, all of these things, when they're taken into consideration while designing the e-learning platform, they will only decide whether it will be successful in imparting the training or not. And the most widely used technique today for training is smartphones. It is becoming an important part of our daily lives, also being utilized for upskilling. So the traditional knowledge management, it focuses on offering organizations a pragmatic but formal approach so that they can increase their productivity, improve the customer service, and reduce human knowledge loss. Herein, when we integrate knowledge management plus the mobile phones, then it accomplishes two goals. That of making KM ubiquitous, that is moving away from the desktop. We need not stay at one place to learn. anytime, anywhere, we can take up the course, and that of making mobile computing useful, that is focusing on the user and assisting actively. So various courses are there on a 24-hour business cycle we can learn using our smartphones. The KM and mobile value proposition is that it provides certain benefits. First, increase the relevant information and knowledge access for immediate decision making by employees. Second, facilitate collaboration and knowledge sharing among the business groups. Third, helps to retain and enrich the institutional knowledge as their intellectual property, overcome the organizational and geographical boundaries to conduct business, and shorten the cycle time for mission critical processes, thereby increasing the employee productivity. So there's a dynamic mobile environment that is created today. A synergy is created, positive atmosphere for the mobile environment that is created by transforming the traditional knowledge value chain into more knowledge ecology. So these are the different training methodologies, methods that are available that can be used by organizations to change or upskill their training structures. Next topic is current trends in training, in which we have training outsourcing. Only until recently, most public sector banks and old private banks they did not outsource training. That is, but with the new generation banks, they are using better technology and more specialized trainers are available through the outsourced agencies. This has forced a rethinking. The corporate training programs herein in India, they had long been synonym with the elaborate itineraries. Large local and multinational companies were known to take employees to the exotic locales, putting them up in the upmarket hotels to attend corporate training sessions. But these are not convenient as of the skills and requirement of today's generation. So now the Indian companies are utilizing using the latest technologies to train and reskill their employees that are proving to be more cost effective, flexible. For example, the Cisco Systems has an online learning system. This is called the education management system. You need to understand, you need to learn about these systems. Cisco has an ongoing classroom learning program that is developed based on individual, team, and business needs. So this platform is known as the education management system. Apart from the usual training methodologies, the techniques that are used for training at Cisco include on-demand video, web-based training, online virtual lab programs, and virtual classrooms. Then HCL Comnet is a player in the remote infrastructure management industry. Also, just like Cisco, the company also uses a mix of corporate training methodologies to train its employees. In addition, to fill the skills gap, Indian technology companies like Infosys Technologies and the Tata Consultancy Services have built their own training campuses in Mysore and Thiruvananthapuram respectively. So these similarly banking industry we had discussed about ICICI partnered IT education, the IFBI that we mentioned in the beginning of this chapter that provides training in the banking insurance. According to various studies, India continues to face an acute skill shortage and more needs to be done to resolve this issue. Next, we have the types of training that can be provided in the organization. First and foremost is induction, that is the introduction of the employee to the job. It's the first day on the job. The organization should fine tune their induction process. If they require the employee to be working on the new technology, so they should provide hands on training that is around the technology, targeted methods, and programs. Second, related to communication, the increasing diversity of today's workforce brings a variety of languages and customs that should be incorporated. Computer skills are becoming a necessity for conducting the administrative and office tasks. Customer service, increased competition in today's market force, the global environment. It is critical that the employees understand and meet the needs of their customers. They should understand the perspectives and individual differences. Diversity training usually includes explanation about how people have different perspectives, understandings, views, and it also includes techniques to value diversity. Ethics. Today's society has increasing expectations about corporate social responsibility. Also, the workforce brings wide variety of values and morals, so we should understand them with sympathy. Human relations is very important. The increased stresses of today's workforce can include misunderstanding and conflict. Training can help people to get along in the workplace, so human relation training is important. Then team building and leadership, because companies where work is done, it is done in a team structure that is headed by a team lead. Therefore, it is a prerequisite for the employees to learn the teamwork, group behavior, and handling mutual conflicts because they're working in groups or teams. For this, leadership development programs can be conducted, personality development, public speaking. These are some of the programs that can help imbibe the leadership quality. Quality initiatives such as TQM, quality circles, QC, benchmarking, etc. They require basic training about the quality concepts, guidelines, and standards for quality. Safety training is critical where we are dealing with the heavy equipment, hazardous chemicals, repetitive activities. Also, it can be helpful for avoiding assaults. Sexual harassment is one of the top training required today. It includes careful description of the organization's policies about sexual harassment, especially what all comes under inappropriate behavior, how we can report this behavior to the seniors, subject specialization like risk management, marketing, credit management, rural finance, and finally, management development programs like decision making, leadership development, management excellence. These programs are mostly meant for the senior executives. So these are the different types of employee training that are provided in the organization towards better working and achievement of goals. Also important to us is to understand the benefits of training. There are certain general benefits from the employee training and development programs. These are the numerous sources of online information about training and development. These suggest reasons for supervisors to conduct training among employees. These reasons are increased job satisfaction and morale among employees is developed because of training. Increased employee motivation is there, efficiencies in the processes that result in financial gain, increased capacity to adopt the new technologies and methods, innovation in strategies and products is enhanced, reduced employee turnover is there, enhanced company image, for example, conducting the ethics training and risk management training about sexual harassment, diversity training, etc. So these are some of the general benefits that arise out of training. Apart from these general benefits, these are some specific benefits like career advancement. The performance reviews that are going to define and map the performance goals, they generally relate to the career, succession, and compensation planning, especially when we are dealing with the Gen Y workers or the new generation workers. Herein, since the goal of any talent management strategy is to enhance the productivity and performance, as well as they want to retain the strong performance for a long time. So today's companies, they need to design advancement and compensation practices to meet the needs and expectations of multiple generation. If the organizations are hoping to retain the workers from the multiple generation, they should look towards more non-traditional advancement opportunities. Workers, they can proactively communicate that advancement does not always mean promotion. Employees should be encouraged to advance in other ways, such as in job roles that are provided, in job rotations, giving new responsibilities, as well as project leadership. So now with modern India, with probably the highest potential workforce in the world, they're coping with the challenges faced that are even higher demands for training. So the traditional India still chugs along with some of the more trusted, steadier and cost-effective training solutions that will lead to career advancement, and they are going to retain the younger generation, more skillful generation in the organization for a longer period of time. Another very important benefit is managing the performance. How should the organization's performance management processes address the generational expectations? There are people from the older generation, also the latest generations. Now, since the Gen Y thrives on constant praise, organizations should consider updating their approach to performance management, wherein more frequent and personalized opportunities to receive feedback is provided. Herein, performance plans for this group should allow the managers to easily recognize both privately and publicly the accomplishment. The Gen Y, they do not basically focus on their pays or compensation. They want more esteem and respect in the organization that they are working. For that, they need appraisals and more rewards for that matter. For these workers, job hopping has become a popular and preferred vehicle for advancing professionally. They switch from one job to another in a short period of time. What they want is a real time view into what they have accomplished and what they need to accomplish going forward and how they can do so that they can be acknowledged and rewarded for their accomplishments. For this, companies can develop a successful talent management strategy for addressing the specific generational needs and expectations. This can include creating rotational assignments so that job hopping can be controlled to support the needs of the younger workers, or offering specialized training and learning programs so that to address the short and long term needs of the multi generational workforce. So, managing the performance is another benefit that is provided out of training. So, in this chapter, we have seen how training can be employed in the organization towards betterment, enhancement of their workers, as well as their career growth, also the organization's effectiveness. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson. Keep learning with us. Thank you.